Mr. Grimshaw, as it was, in the news at the moment. Brendan Grimshaw's in the news at the moment.
He's just passed. He was 81 years old. And I can remember when we first met him, Craig.
Yeah, well, let's just explain who he is for the people that don't know, because he was on the Seychelles, right? And he's just recently been a person that has dedicated. He's just recently died, and he's given the island that he owned to become a ecological haven in the Seychelles, hasn't he? And we went out, and we met him while we were there, didn't we? So we thought we'd introduce him as one of the first topical sort of topics of some of the people we've met, because he's in the news at the moment. And he was basically offered $50 million for the island by a big hotel group owned by a Saudi. And he turned it down. He said, I want this to be a legacy for the people out there.
He started off as a journalist, and he bought the island for, say, 14,000, which was a lot going back in the 50s. And he created it himself with his friend from the Seychelles, and they planted every plant on there, and they encouraged all birds to go on there. And he even built a little church on there, which was made of all the trees there.
Yeah, it was a fabulous. Let's put the name of, I can't remember the name of the island. We've got a photograph of the name of the island we can put up, I think. What was it called? I've forgotten the name of the island. It was blank. No, it was Moyenne Island, that was it. Moyenne Island, that's where we went. And I remember getting off the boat into that beautiful sea there, wasn't it? That beautiful, beautiful setting it was. Fabulous place we went to meet him, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we went to the island, and you got to meet him.
Well, this is him. And when we first met him, there was this man walking around with a very tiny thong on.
I remember.
I was quite shocked, because it's not every day you see a wrinkly man with a thong on. And first thing he said to me, I thought it was Diana Dawes that came to visit me. I said, she's a relative of mine. And he laughed. And he was a lovely, lovely man. But he lived on this island with about 150 tortoises.
Oh yeah, we went round together, and we looked at all the tortoises. They were quite amazing, huge, great animals, you know. And I have a sort of a closeness to tortoises, because with my hair, I sometimes look a bit like one of these tortoises, I think sometimes. But you could walk amongst them, you know, and they're rare. There's two tortoises there. They look lovely. And I had a bit of hair at the back then. And they live a long time, and they're an endangered species. And he brought hundreds of them on the island, and really I see as being quite a remarkable man.
He was a remarkable man. He even dug his own grave there that he wanted to be buried on there.
Did he really?
Yeah, and there was two other graves which were pirates. He told me, which is like people, you know that.
He got the pirate cafe on there as well. He had a pirate's cafe on there.
But he had. He even built a cocktail bar on there.
Yeah.
And he lived very frugally in a hut, and he bred these tortoises and things. And for his treat with his man Friday friend, he used to go to the pictures and get a boat over to the other island.
Oh, right, I forgot about that.
And then he built a shower there on the island. It was very basic and everything.
He said to me, I remember he said that they had to carry the water up the hill.
Yeah.
They had no water, there's no natural water on the island, I think, and they had to carry the water right up to the top, because it was quite a steep slopes there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he'd carry all that water, massive, to shower as well.
Yeah, and I remember when we got off this boat, there was other boats coming in, and they were like manservants, not our personal manservants, but they had all the food bringing over to the island, lovely curries, and it had great big silver dishes on, and transporting it. It was sort of like a mystical thing, really. In a way.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And yet he was offered like $50 million. And that was going back. That's not, even more now.
No.
And he said, I'm not going to have some big hotel for the rich who are going to just enjoy this. This is an ecological thing for the future.
Yeah. And another thing, it was meant to be buried treasure, and I think that was just a bit of an old wives' tale to get people to go and visit. And it was meant to be haunted, because they say, "Can you hear them, Jane? The whispers and everything."
Yeah, he was quite an interesting, funny character, wasn't he too? And but if you look at all of the islands on the Seychelles now, all these little beautiful paradises, they've all got hotels being
Yeah,
built on
it's a
them.
shame,
Even
isn't it?
Bird Island, which was just for the birds, is going to have a hotel built on
Oh
it.
dear, it's a
And we
shame,
went
isn't it?
to Le Digue too, didn't we? Which was absolute paradise
Oh,
place.
that was interesting, wasn't it?
Absolute
You had
paradise.
tortoises there, and they made a film there actually.
Bounty
by where
adverts
all
were
the-
made there.
Where
Actually.
all the lotus flowers were. And do you remember we went to visit the Coco de Mer,
Yeah.
like
Absolutely
a
fantastic.
rainforest?
But
we
he
walked
was a
through.
beautiful man, I think. One, I would say, was one of the many, many, many remarkable people we've met
Never
in our life.
married, did he?
No, but I don't know why. If it was Man Friday was
Well,
like.
what woman wants to live with 150 tortoises?
He lived his life in Africa too.